It's Thursday night. It's November 2nd, 2023. Yes, Boiler Breakdown, episode number 2 for the week. The rare time that we do 2 episodes a week, but it's a special one tonight. It is our Purdue men's basketball 2023-2024 preview episode, one of our favorite episodes we do every year. And we think this is the 126th year of Purdue men's basketball, which is a lot of seasons for Purdue men's basketball. But why I bring that up, Webby, do you think this is the most anticipated season in Purdue men's basketball history? I would say it is in our lifetime.
100%. Yeah.
The only other season maybe is 87-88. Purdue started the season ranked number 2.
Yeah, that's what the caveat was probably that one, which you and I were both not alive. So our father have to or maybe some of our listeners will have to come in on that season because we were not even
You're right, not even a thought. And did I lose you? My connection looks like a little spotty here. I don't know who froze, if it's me or Evan. If somebody's watching, let me know in the comments. Off the hot start here. But don't know what's. Let me leave this studio and hop back in here. Okay, I'm back in. So sorry for everybody for the technical difficulties. I'm hoping Evan hops back in here soon as well. Off the hot start for our basketball preview episode here. But the only other season I can think of in Evan and I's lifetime that was close to this anticipated would probably, 2 years ago was pretty highly anticipated, but I would say the 2009-2010 season when you had Chris Kramer and Keaton Grant as seniors, Robbie Hummel, Juwan Johnson, Eton Moore as juniors. That core group had already had 2 years under their belts of a lot of success. The Baby Boilers as freshmen went on to a surprising season. A lot of people had them picked 8th, if not 9th in the Big Ten. That was back when the Big Ten was 11 teams. And they went on to almost win the Big Ten, finished in the top 3. And then it looks like got your back. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was just kind of rambling, saying the other season in our lifetime.
Were you good the whole time?
I don't know. Nobody let me know, so I just dropped myself out and dropped back in because sometimes I feel like it's good on my end and it's not. So I don't know.
Yeah, I switched to a hotspot, so hopefully this is better because this kind of happened last time right at the end when you and I were talking at post podcast.
Oh, it's hard telling if it's StreamYard or if it's Wi-Fi or what it is. It's always something. But I was rambling on how 2 years ago was a pretty highly anticipated season going in. But I would say the one that's closest in comparison to this year would be the 2009-10 season when Keaton Grant, Chris Kramer were seniors, Robbie Hummel, Juwan Johnson, Eton Moore were juniors. They already had 2 years of success under their belts. That Baby Boilers year, they shocked the Big Ten kind of. They were supposed to be 8th or 9th in the Big Ten out of 11 teams. Darn near won the Big Ten. Then got to the second round, lost to Xavier. In that following year, they were kind of clipped by injuries throughout the year, some nagging injuries, especially Robbie's back. But won the Big Ten tournament, got to the Sweet 16, lost to Connecticut, who ultimately made the Final Four. And then 2009-10, we know how that season went. Purdue was absolutely rolling. Robbie blows a tire, unfortunately, tears an ACL. And Purdue still makes it to the Sweet 16 and loses to eventual champion Duke. So I would say that season is probably the closest in anticipation to this.
Didn't we come into the 10-11 season? I know it was a little bit prior to the actual season, but weren't we kind of looked at as the number one team coming in right before Robbie got hurt?
We were by a lot of before the polls actually came out.
Right.
I know Playboy couldn't tell if they do anymore. They used to do college sports coverage a little bit. They'd come out with College Edition. Don't ask me how I know that, but we were their number one ranked team. That's where I was getting at. Going into that year, and then unfortunately, Robbie blew his knee out again. Just a couple weeks, if not a week or two, before the polls were supposed to come out. So, but that was a highly anticipated season 2. And that 10-11 season, because that was my freshman year at Purdue, I always look back at that team and think that team overachieved all year long. Mm-hmm. Even though they had 2 NBA players, I just felt like they overachieved, and unfortunately they kind of woke up. Mm-hmm. Ted Berkey here on YouTube said we were top 5 that season. I think we were number 3 in most polls in 10 and 11.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
I remember I saw there was I don't know if it was an Andy Katz or somebody had put their preseason poll out, and we were number 1, and then as soon as Robbie got hurt, we were 25th or even out of the out of the rankings. So I was like, really? Right. One guy.
Well, if you remember in the 09-10 season when he got hurt, our resume was a lot better than the seeding that the NCAA gave us.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA gave us what? We were either 4 or 5. I think we were 5. We had the resume to be a top 3 seed. So it was kind of ridiculous, but oh well. But first and foremost, did you watch any of the Grace College exhibition game last night?
No, I wasn't going to pay $10 to watch Big Ten Plus.
I'm right there with you.
I had a late night haircut, so I went and I drove around and drove real slow and listened to Rob Blackman. So I could listen to the game.
I was just able to see some highlights here and there and kind of followed the score on Twitter as I could. But nice to see Purdue take care of business, take care of the Lancers, who are ranked number 2 in NAIA. So, yes, it's quite a bit levels down from NCAA Division I, but still, that's no slouch of a team there in Winona Lake, Indiana. Nice to see Purdue take care of business, 98-51. And Ted here on YouTube said we would have been a 2 seed in 9-10. Yeah, definitely had the resume for it.
Yeah.
So good to see Purdue take care of business. Good to see a lot of guys get some good run of minutes. Looking at the box score here.
Something that jumps out to me is the first half, which is when obviously the starters and guys are going to play played the most for sure. 16 of 36 from the field, 16 of 36 from the field, 6 of 13 from 3, so 46%, and then 12 of 13 from the free throw line. So very encouraging. I know second half 3-pointers kind of dropped dramatically to 2 of 14, but also you got guys some guys taking threes that maybe weren't necessarily going to take threes, or even just the game was out of hand, so guys were just Edey taking a 3, and so that definitely dropped the percentage quite a bit. But
Zach Edey led the team with 19 points, 6-12 from the field, 7-9 from the free throw line. He had 9 rebounds overall. Next leading scorer was Lance Jones in his Boiler debut, or I guess we did play Arkansas in exhibition, but
Mackey debut.
The charity Mackey debut. Thank you. He had 13 points, 5 for 8 from the field, 3 from 6 from behind the arc, and then Braden Smith was the other guy. Well, we had a couple other guys in double digits. Braden Smith, 11 points on 4 of 9 shooting, 3 for 4 from behind the arc. Like seeing that. Will Berg, 11 points, 5 for 8 from the field. He did attempt 1 3. He was 0 for 1 behind the arc. And Caleb First, he had 10 points in 12 minutes of action, 3 for 5 from the field, 0 for 1 from behind the arc. Excuse me. I was looking at Miles Colvin, who was 0 for 4 from behind the arc. Minutes played. It's interesting that Camden Hyde it led the team with 21 minutes. He had 5 points on 1 for 4 shooting, 1 for 2 from behind the arc. So,
he didn't start, but I wonder if that is, Painter trying to fast track someone like him because I think, if this team wants to get where they want to go, we're going to need someone like a Heidi or a Colvin to really make their presence known on this team. So I'm wondering if, that Painter playing him 21 minutes. He played Colvin 16. Which is, one off of Braden and Zach type minutes. You wonder if Painter playing Heidi that many minutes if he's just trying to fast track him to. Because I think he was even first person off. I think he was first one guy off the bench, trying to fast track him to getting a bigger role on this team because we're definitely going to need him.
Yeah,
because he's super athletic.
Absolutely, and I'm really curious what the bench rotation is going to look like. I think they run with the same starting five next Monday against Samford, and we'll probably see the same starting five unless some problems arise. I think we'll see the same starting five for the good majority of the first month. It's kind of not broke, don't fix it type of thing.
Right. I mean, let's see. You had Braden, Fletcher, Jones, TKR, and Edie. Okay, so I guess who do you think would be the first person to drop out of the starting lineup?
Probably Kaufman Wren. Yeah. Just because we're so stacked at the four. I mean, you got Gillis and First, who've started many games in their career too. That's such a deep position.
I could definitely see Mason maybe taking that spot back if the ED TKR tandem doesn't prove to be as effective as maybe they were hoping. You can maybe see Gillis coming in, starting, and then TKR coming in at the 4, and then First going in at the 5. Because that's kind of how it's been going.
Right.
Because I would see that more than I would see a Heidi or Colvin supplanting Jones at the 3 as of right now.
Yep. Looking at the schedule here, where Purdue opens with next Monday, 6:30 p.m. on Big Ten Network with Samford, who is a good mid-major. They won their conference, I believe, last year.
They did. Yeah. Foreman had an interesting tweet. We'll pull it up. You can go ahead and finish your thought.
Then we play, I was just going over next week's game. Then we play Morehead State next Friday, 7 p.m. at Mackey. But that is Big Ten Plus, the lone Big Ten Plus regular season game of the year.
Yeah, he said the opener against Samford is one of 4 Purdue opponents that won their conference regular season title a year ago. Samford, Morehead State, Gonzaga, and Alabama. 3 more possible with Kansas, Marquette, and UCLA. And then 3 others finished in the top 3, being Xavier, Arizona, and EKU.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet. Yeah. It is a gauntlet of non-conference scheduling, but I think, Matt Painter wants to take on the challenge head-to-head, him and Elliot Bloom, and they know they got the team for it and doing whatever they can to prepare themselves for March. You host Xavier in the Gavitt games on Monday, November 13th. That's an 8:30 game on Fox Sports 1. Then you got that whole week off. And then the following Monday, you have Gonzaga, who we played last year. That's ESPN 2. That's a 5 p.m. game on a Monday. And then we'll see Tennessee or Syracuse on Tuesday, November 21st. If we win, that game's at 8 p.m. If we lose, that game's at 2:30. I hope we win. I hope we play Syracuse. I'm tired of playing Tennessee and things. And then Wednesday would be, it's of course to be announced and to be determined for when we play then. But then we have
Kansas.
Yep, potentially Kansas. Who sounds like they got some problems within their own for being number 1 in the country. Sounds like they need their depth to come through a little more. Then their exhibition against Illinois the other day, but their exhibitions, everybody's looking way too much into these already. Then we play Texas Southern, and then 2 Big Ten games at Northwestern on a Friday night in December 1st. Then host Iowa December 4th. Then play 2 neutral games back-to-back, a Saturday, December 9th, up in Toronto against Alabama. That game's at 1:30 on Fox. And then Arizona in the Indy Classic. That's the Saturday, December 16th. That's on Peacock. So once again, if you don't have Peacock, you better do so. That's one of Purdue's 6 games, at least 6 games. That's going to be on Peacock. And then Purdue also plays Jacksonville on Thursday, December 21st, and Eastern Kentucky Friday, December 29th, before we get into the full Big Ten slate in January when it turns 2024, which the first game of Big Ten season is at Maryland on Peacock. So a lot of Peacock games, a lot of Fox Sports games, a lot of CBS games as well. No ESPN games this year. Just a reminder, the Big Ten is not with ESPN anymore. They're with Fox, NBC, and CBS. So
the only really ESPN will have is the Maui.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So looking at all those non-conference games we just talked about, which one, I guess you can't say Kansas because we don't know if we'd play Kansas.
Right.
Of the teams we are scheduled to play, which one stands out to you the most? Which one concerns you the most?
Concerns me the most? think it's Alabama.
Yep.
Just because I think they're very similar to the Arkansas team that we just played. Granted, again, scrimmage, messing with lineups, but Nate Oates has done a really good job down there, especially at a school like Alabama, who prior to his arrival really couldn't give a crap about basketball. And now that they're, he hasn't made a Final Four, but he's made some good runs in the tournament so far. He's getting legit recruits. I think he's already got a 5-star already committed for next year's class, if not a high 4-star. He's in the running for some others. He's playing with the big boys. With the team, with the school like Alabama, the NIL, assuming they want to allocate for basketball, it's going to be there if it wants to be there. Right. But these Alabama teams, obviously he had Brandon Miller last year, the number 1 or the number 2 pick, right? So the Hornets was the number 2 pick behind Wemby.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Long athletic guy. So that's obviously the kind of been the antithesis of Purdue the last couple of years. So that's probably the one that concerns me the most. Arizona too, just because a guy like Caleb Love, who's been around forever now.
They're athletic too. Usually.
Athletic as well. Tommy Lloyd's a great coach for being a young coach. But yeah, like someone like Caleb Love, it's like, is that someone, or Braden guards, or is that somebody you put Lance on just because he's a unit. He's a big dude. And he's good. And he's one of those guys that can, the problem with Caleb Love is he's the guy who can keep you in a game like he did for Carolina in the Final Four run, or he's the guy who can shoot you out of it immediately.
So speaking of Lance Jones, do you think he'll have more of an impact than David Jenkins did last year?
100%.
Okay.
He's bigger. Yeah, I think he can create more for himself. That's kind of what he had to do at Southern Illinois. So I think he has no problem doing that on the team. Now, whether or not Painter wants him to do that as much, that was kind of the thing that, when he committed, the first thing people looked at was, his 3-point percentage last year was like 26%, which is, probably been like second best on the team, on our team last year. But he was the guy on that team. He was the guy who was taking tons of shots, taking deep threes. But I think he's a guy who I think definitely last year's team could have used a lot more, just because he's a fearless guy, which I think is what was his team. Especially look at, obviously the FDU game where everyone was afraid to take a shot. I think Lance Jones is a kid who's not going to be afraid to take a shot. I like that he's bigger. He's got a little more quickness. Like I said, when I went to the fan day, the game 2, when he took the ball coast to coast in about 3 seconds, it was a burst of athleticism that I did not expect to see out of him. I was kind of expecting the David Jenkins type athleticism, but he surprised me. So I think just a guy who can create his own shot will be huge, especially if Braden isn't in the game. Fletcher's shown flashes of being able to do it, but just having that, 6'2", 6'3" guard who can get downhill. And old guards, as we've seen with college basketball, you want to have good old guards. I think we've got one in Lance Jones.
I hope he can go off in Mackey against Michigan State like David Jenkins did.
Yep.
So only see the Spartans once in the regular season.
Yep.
That's at home on Saturday, March 2nd, 8 p.m. So that's a Fox night game, Saturday night prime Fox night game, which most, if not all, preseason predictions have Purdue and Michigan State 1 and 2 in the Big Ten. So that's gonna be a big one for sure. How are you feeling coming into the season as a fan? I know you're very excited. Any anxiety, any nerves going on? And what, I guess, if there are nerves, what concerns you most about this team?
As of right now, no. I think mostly just because I think back to the 2021, 2022, going to that year of and looking back, the expectation wasn't. We were thinking what preseason ranked was it 7 or something? I don't even know if we were that high.
7 at the highest, I think, but we might have been just outside the top 10. I think 7 sounds right.
We knew Jaden was going to be good. Again, we didn't think he was going to be top 10 pick, top 6 pick. We knew he was definitely, potential lottery pick. So that was exciting. Edey had shown it was good his freshman year, for a kid who we thought was going to redshirt when he came into Purdue.
Yeah.
And then I think definitely that trip out, I think it was out east when we beat North Carolina and Villanova. Yeah, it was a Mohegan Sun or whatever. That weekend definitely like took the expectation from like we gotta be good to like, okay, like this team is legit. And then the wheels kind of came off for about a month. So that gave me a lot of anxiety at the time, but this year I'm kind of just like, I mean, coming off of last year, how it ended, like I'm tired of hearing it, but at the same time, it's like the team did it to themselves.
Like Matt said, you got to sit in it.
I mean, we've been talking, recruiting, the burner account, Truly Donovan put out his Final Four predictions, and Purdue was one of his. And I mean, just the comments underneath it was like, why would you pick Purdue? They can't do anything in March. They lost to a 15 seed with Jaden Ivey and Zach Edey, yada, yada. So it's like, you're going to hear that all year. And it's disappointing to hear, certain fans say like, only like, I mean, talk to me in March, which yeah, I get it. Like that's no matter what this team does until March, like that's something that isn't going to matter. That's what's going to find this year's team. But
it is too bad that college basketball is for most programs is turning into that. It is too bad.
Like we've talked about this, but like with football, it's like go look at college football. Unless you're playing in the college football playoff, like the regular season, like no one cares about the bowls anymore. Like you get to a bowl, it's like you just want to have somewhat of a team show up because transfers and guys sitting out for the NFL or whatever reason, which I totally get. So it's like the regular season, that we didn't get a chance to enjoy O'Connell and Charlie Jones in the bowl game last year, like we did with Aiden O'Connell the year before. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it does suck, but I mean, my thought is like, I kind of, when I went to the senior day last year, I remember going like when during the starting lineups and when Zach Edey was announced, I was like, damn, is this going to be the last time I see Zach Edey in a Purdue uniform, like in person? And it was, didn't expect to, think when he committed to Purdue originally, like wouldn't think like, we watching a national player of the year on our team, we've seen, great players come through playing in Mackey, but, very rarely they wearing a Purdue jersey. And so now the fact that we have him back and I get to go watch him play again, like, it's just like, I'm just going to enjoy it like as much as I can. Like, obviously my kind of thought is like, as long as things don't go south, I'm just going to try and enjoy this year as much as I can. Obviously I'll get mad at losses. And, that's what kind of sucks with this type of season is just like, I mean, had a chance to listen to the Boyle Sports Show. They kind of talked about how certain fans, like, every win is like, because this is how I felt in 2021, 2022 is like every win is like almost a relief of like, okay, oh, thank God. Okay. On to the next one. And then every loss is like, this is the reason why we're going to lose, to a 16, 15, whatever seed, whatever double seed you want to throw in there in March. And so like, I'm just going to try and just enjoy it for what it is this year. Watching this teams again, this is the last time we're going to see a lot of these guys play in a Purdue uniform. Now, that being said, when Selection Sunday hits, I'm going to be probably the most anxious I've ever been in my life watching Purdue basketball. But hey, that's what makes it fun. But I'm excited. I'm excited.
Some fans I've talked to said, yeah, they're going to enjoy the ride this year because they look at it this way. Purdue's already hurt them as bad as they're ever going to hurt them last year.
Yeah. I mean, like you always have that like things that like that level of anxiety of like, I mean, I know the one time we were one seed before, it was like we almost lost it. And it's like, now we've experienced it. It's like you really can't get much lower.
No.
So, like, I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
we'll be nervous no matter who we play in the first.
Yeah,
from now on.
We've seen Purdue finish, last in the Big Ten, and get boat raced so many times on our home court, and that sucks. But watching that team lose to a 16 seed, and then just hearing, I guess just thank God for Virginia because being the first would have been the only way it could have been worse.
But yet, why Virginia's not talked about in the same boat is because they came back and won the national championship the next year, which, granted, we had them beat.
Yeah, we did.
Not go down that again. So hopefully history repeats itself. But, I have heard, and recently on college basketball podcasts when they talk about Purdue, not only do they mention the 16 seed over the 1 seed, they call it the biggest upset in NCAA tournament history. They don't even put the UMBC and Virginia one in that category.
And where I could agree with that is just because that UMBC team was pretty good, and Fairleigh was supposed to make the tournament because the team that they lost to in their conference championship couldn't play because they weren't eligible or something.
Yeah, that was we played them last year. Who was that?
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about. Yeah, which is a stupid rule. But yeah, it's just like, so that's what makes it way worse.
Yeah. So I mean, the guys are tired of hearing about it, but they got to go out and just play with confidence. You can't get timid. You can't get nervous. Can't get afraid. Can't you got to accept the target on your back because Purdue's got to be the hunted. Last year they were kind of the hunter, snuck up on everybody, won the Big Ten by 3 games, pretty unheard of. And now they know everybody. Sure, we have some new pieces, Camden Heide, Miles Colvin, and even I would say even Brian Waddell.
Yeah,
he plays more.
Lance Jones.
Lance Jones. Thank you. William Berg, if he gets a run, I don't see him be a part of regular rotation, but I could be wrong. It'll be interesting to see where Matt lands.
With all due respect to Berg, I hope he doesn't see the rotation because that means something bad probably happened.
Yeah, that's a good point. It will be interesting. I know Matt was on John Rothstein's podcast the other day and said it was pretty good. Of course, like Matt's good, like he always is. And he said, he's got a rotation where he could go deeper than usual. He usually feels comfortable at 9, but he said this year might have to be 10.
Yeah, and I was talking to my friend who's a Tennessee fan. He was saying the same thing about their team. They beat Michigan State at Michigan State in their exhibition without their 2 best players.
They've been a popular Final Four pick, I've seen.
Yeah, without their, which again, kind of similar in the vein as Purdue's, the Rick Barnes. He can't do anything in March. My friend even goes, we're gonna run away in the SEC and then get beat in the second round.
He did go to 1 Final Four at Texas.
But he's had a lot of good teams. You had Kevin Durant and couldn't get out. He couldn't even get to the Sweet 16. Which again,
Kevin Durant weighed like $140 then at Texas, soaking wet.
That's when the jerseys were pretty loose fitting too. So it was
wasn't he the one he could hardly do any reps at the NBA Combine? On the bench press.
He could do a bench press. Yeah, he could do a bench press.
Crazy. Now he's one of the best scorers in NBA history.
Right. They're he was saying the exact same thing, but it's I just completely lost my train of thought there. What was I saying about Tennessee?
Rick Barnes hadn't done much there.
Oh, he was saying, my brother was saying how they have a deep team, and he's like, we could go 12 deep, and I was like, but can you really? Because I hear teams I've heard, we've said that about Purdue in the past. It's like, oh, we could go 10, 12 deep. It's like, yeah, but then you've got guys who were getting on the floor, then immediately coming back out. So you don't get guys into a rhythm. We kind of saw that with Brandon Newman in the past, where he'd get on the floor, for a 5-minute stretch, didn't even a chance to get warm, and then he's getting pulled, not necessarily because of anything bad, but because Jaden Ivey's come back in the game, or Sasha's coming back in the game, or something. So it's is it, it's nice to have that, but at the same time, it's gotta let you guys kind of work through their mistakes and get cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say I will be shocked if Purdue gets through their non-conference schedule undefeated for the 3rd straight year.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
And I know Knucklehead Central is gonna just come unglued when Purdue loses 1, 2, if not 3 games in non-conference. I'm fully expecting losing. I fully expect to lose 1, 2 wouldn't surprise me. Even 3 wouldn't shock me, but I wouldn't put money on losing 3 as long as Purdue stays healthy. I think 1 or 2 is about where they'll land. And Maui, for instance, you want to go at least 2-1 down there.
Yeah, you want to get.
That's the goal. You want to get 2.
You want to get that first one, get in the winner's bracket. Then because you don't want to lose and then play Chaminade. Nothing against Chaminade, but it does nothing. It can only hurt you.
We don't even want to attempt to play Chaminade. We've been there.
Yeah.
Nope.
We could have a repeat of what was it? What was the tournament in 2018 where we lost to Tennessee, then lost to Western Michigan, then played Arizona in the consolation the last place game when we both thought when everybody thought that those 2 teams would be playing the championship. And
that was awful. That was awful. Then we got hot. But that was awful.
Yeah. It was just oh God, we're gonna go in 3.
I forget what that tournament was, but we've had some bad ones. And I remember the one out in Vegas with the Baby Boiler team. We lost to
Iowa State,
and then
you and I watched that game at your house on your computer.
The old computer.
I know how we watched it.
How about, did we lose or barely beat Missouri State?
I thought we
It was
beat
a
them.
bad trip. It was a bad
Yeah, it
trip.
was a
I
really
just
bad
remember
trip.
that.
Well, then we came home and lose to Wofford.
Yes. Yes. Boiler legend Stuart Swaggart, watching the podcast, says hey, and said last weekend was a rough weekend for the Boilers. Yes, indeed.
Say that again.
Yes, indeed. Saturday was not a fun one. Still mad about the Nebraska loss, and we're almost a week to it.
Hey, at least we know that if Purdue loses to Michigan on Saturday, it's because they stole our signs. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
that's the reason. It's the only reason.
Yeah, the only reason. Yeah, but hey, yeah, it was like Stu said, so bad. Yeah, it was
so bad.
It was awful. It was awful. It was awful. But no, what? Of course, we want to make the Final Four. We want to make the national championship game in basketball this year. But what would you be satisfied with if Final Four is off the table? Purdue falls short. Would you be satisfied with anything else?
Satisfies is a key. Like, so I'm trying to what would I consider like.
Because last year we weren't satisfied, of course, because even though one Big Ten, Big Ten tournament, losing a 16 seed, you can't be satisfied. If we would have made a little run, maybe you look at things differently.
I guess like if when Selection Sunday comes, like knowing nothing about the tournament, I will be satisfied with one Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stu here wants to know what you thought about the play of Edey. I'm assuming that's Arkansas and maybe even Grace last night.
Well, didn't see either game. But from what I saw of highlights from last night's scrimmage, I mean, he's player of the year. I mean, like he's definitely, which is crazy too, is I don't think he'll win player of the year again, at least national. I think it's just gonna be so hard. Like
I think his numbers will be a little down.
It is. I think, but I think it's gonna be. I mean, I'm assuming you're alluding to is because someone else is stepping up. Because I kind of hope his numbers go down a little bit. Because I want that, like Braden, Fletcher, Lance Jones, Cameron Heide, somebody to kind of take some of that away. So it's just not just what we saw in FDU game of it's either Edey or 3. Like we need like something else. Like I don't really care what it is. I think his rebounding will still be. I think his rebounding numbers will stay the same. I definitely think his points will go down. And I just feel like it's going to be. I mean, I guess. When's the last time there was a back-to-back player of the year? Was Garza player of the year?
Ralph Sampson. Okay. Back
Garza was back-to-back Big Ten player of the year. Duh.
Yeah. Ralph Sampson.
Yeah, so it's obviously and usually because player of the year usually goes pro, so this is kind of uncharted territory.
Right.
But I mean, you've got like a Kyle Filipowski who's coming back, who's just, I mean, the Duke hype machine is already strong, like as it is.
Sure.
So you've got guys like that, and I'm blanking on other. I mean, trying to think of the first team preseason All-American team, what that was. I mean, what's crazy with Edey is like, I think, he may not win player of the year, but I think he'll be better than he was last year, just overall, just because of, I mean, we always seem to forget that he was getting pushed around in Arkansas, probably because the officials weren't calling it. He's been catching the ball a lot farther away from the basket. But I don't know if that's maybe by design, because he made a move yesterday and now again it's Grace, but he made a move where he actually caught the ball and actually kind of drove and took it looked like a travel, but only because he can take the largest steps of any human being known to man. So just like that athleticism, it's like, who's gonna go meet him at the rim? Like, who's gonna challenge him at that? I mean, you'll have a few guys try and do it, but like, good luck. So I think we're going to see, hopefully him better in the pick and roll defense. Him almost kind of facilitating off a pick and roll on offense. So I'm curious. I'm really anxious to see, because again, like, he's only played basketball for 5-6 years now. So it's like, he's only going to get better. Like,
I know he did not play his freshman year in high school. So I think he started playing sophomore year in high school.
I mean, he played, a whole lot, he spent a ton of time with Team Canada playing with legit NBA players. So it's like, that's not going to hurt. So yeah, I think we're going to see much improved Edey, even if his stats don't reflect that of last year, just because we were so dependent on him.
I know Robbie Hummel and Jeff Goodman were talking about Purdue today on the Field of 68 podcast. Mm-hmm. And Robbie picked Purdue to make the Final Four. Goodman did not. Goodman gave Hummel some flack. Well, they both agreed. They think Zach Edey will be a better player this year, which is hard to believe because, like you said, he's the reigning National Player of the Year. To answer your question, Stu, about Miles Colvin, if he's played at all, he did play 16 minutes last night against Grace College, had 8 points on 2 of 8 shooting. He was 0 for 4 from behind the arc, but was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. So I think he's too talented not to find his way into the rotation. I just don't know what exact spot that is, if it's 7th, 8th, 9th man, and how many minutes that will be per game. But
I think his biggest challenge is going to be team defense.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah,
it's just I mean, it's one thing to contain your man 1-on-1, which I know he can do. I mean, he's got all the tools. I mean, he has the same tools that Ivy had. I mean, he's long, he's athletic, strong. I mean, he's young too. Like, he's young for his grade, but like, he's really strong. It just
comes from a good pedigree.
Comes from a good pedigree. Yeah. Like I said, he got the same tools that Ivy has. The problem is Ivy just didn't give a crap about defense. So if his give a crap motor can work well, he can be incredible.
The Colvin family can become Purdue's most popular family pretty fast, with Raven excelling at volleyball, and of course Roosevelt being a Purdue legend and a defensive end. So, if Miles can contribute on this team, they'll be right there as Purdue royalty for the family. Evan, besides Michigan State in the Big Ten, who are some other teams that worry you on paper?
Illinois, as much as I hate saying it.
Yeah.
Illinois, I'm really curious about Maryland. I'm looking at a CBS prediction. When was this written? This was written about a month ago, less than a month ago. And they have Illinois finishing third behind Purdue and Michigan State. Maryland really intrigues me. Obviously, that game last year was really frustrating from a Purdue standpoint. Kevin Miller's doing a really good job there. They've got Dante Scott's back. They've got Julian Reese is back as a big man. Hakeem Hart, he transferred. Sorry. They've got some good incoming freshmen. Like a Jordan Geronimo from Indiana, he transferred there, so it just adds athleticism.
Forgot about that.
But yeah, they have 2 potentially really, really good freshmen coming in. What was their name? It was Deshaun Harris-Smith, who apparently is have been super impressive in practice, and they've got a kid. I can't remember his name. Kaiser, I think is his last name. He was a really good shooter. That could be, challenge for freshman of the year in the Big Ten. I'm really glad we play them during winter break for them. So hopefully the students aren't there, because that's a tough place to play.
Yeah, College Park's not easy.
Yeah. They worry me. Wisconsin, people are high on Wisconsin. I don't know. I mean, they return a lot. Obviously, Tyler Wall is their go-to guy, but it's Wisconsin. They don't have a Johnny Davis on there anymore. Northwestern, obviously Boo Booey's back, but they lost, Chase Audige, so I think they lose a lot of their punch, especially on defense from that. I know Brooks Barnheiser went off last night in their scrimmage. He went for 29 points. It'd be cool cool to see that Lafayette native doing well. If he can step and get a bigger role. I know I think Indiana, some people have Indiana top 4. Some people have them 7 or below. I think they probably have some of the biggest. They have the biggest floor to ceiling gap of any Big Ten team, just because they've got a ton of talent, but interesting fit. I feel like. I think if you're going back to your question as I rambled, I think the teams that worry me the most probably are Illinois and Maryland.
Yeah. I was gonna say Illinois. Which, speaking of Illinois, Stu wants to know our thoughts on Ty Rodgers from Illinois. And he's a sophomore. He played a good amount of minutes. He played in all 33 games last year. He averaged 3.3 points per game. He's from Saginaw, Michigan, as Stu says, and played at Stu's middle school. Yeah, he'll have a bigger role on the Illinois team this year for sure.
He'll be starting point guard. We were talking with our good friend who's a huge Illinois fan. We were kind of asking him about, what his thoughts were, and he said that they've got a ton of depth. They're old, and Illinois was old a couple years ago when they won the Big Ten, when you had Frazier, who was there for a decade. Yeah, the biggest knock against Ty Rodgers is he's not a good shooter, according to our friend. But I mean, I think if you can facilitate that offense, you got some really good talent on that team, with Terrence
Shannon,
who could be player of the year in the Big Ten. He'll definitely challenge Edey. I love his game. I remember I said it last year when I first saw him, one of their first games. He's just huge. He's athletic. I mean, he kind of led that comeback last year at Mackey. He has that potential to just go nuclear from deep, and he's just big and athletic, so he can get to the hoop really easily. Obviously, you've got what's their big man who likes to play the point guard? 33. Where's
Coleman Hawkins.
Coleman Hawkins, yeah, he can go off. Dane Dange's, Travion Light right now. Yep. So they're a really good team, really, really tough matchup.
Thanks for tuning in, Stu. Yeah, let's boil it up Saturday night and shock the world.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good to me. I'm sure Stu definitely wants to do that, being a Michigan guy.
Yeah,
from Michigan. But no, I definitely need to do my Big Ten basketball research. That's my homework over the weekend to get.
It's just so hard nowadays with
the portal and everything. Yeah, it was hard before then, and now it's even more difficult.
I mean, just trying to remember who, even just it was one thing when guys were transferring out of conference. It's now when they're transferring within the conference. Like I see Geronimo going to Maryland, like stuff like that. When you see it quite a bit. I mean, Jamison Battle going from Minnesota to Ohio State. That's a team that could potentially be, they were terrible last year, but again, they have a ton of talent, so if they can put it together, watch out.
It took kind of some heroics on our part to win that game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or the first one. Second one, we blew them out of the water at Mackey.
Yeah.
But we only get them once this year, and that's at Ohio State. That is a Sunday CBS game on February 18th, 1 o'clock.
Yep. Look at a team like Rutgers. I mean, they lost Paul Mulcahy. Thank God. I forgot he went to Washington. Completely forgot about that until today.
We get them twice. We get them on a Sunday on Fox in Piscataway, and then we play them home on a Thursday night on Fox Sports 1.
Yep. I forgot Rutgers lost that shooter who hit the game winner against us. He transferred somewhere, I think. Spencer, yeah. Cam Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go to Georgetown? I don't remember where he went.
It seems like it'd be a fit, but I'm not sure. But I know, like we were talking this morning in our group text message, you, Andrew, and I, that Rutgers is in on top 5 national players right now for next year.
You went to UConn. Okay. Good for him.
Went to the defending national
champions. Yeah. Rutgers, they've got, depending on the service you prefer, they've had a 5-star commitment, Ace Bailey, for a while. He's like number 3 player, and then they're in on Dylan Harper, the younger brother of Bryce, or not Bryce Harper, Ron Harper Jr. Obviously I think his top 5 is like Rutgers, Duke, Kansas, Auburn, and Indiana. And he's visited Rutgers a ton. Obviously, he's visited Duke, he's visited Indiana. So if he goes there, it's like, they could be, 2 top 5 players, which is insane.
I know we're kind of bouncing around here, but I always like to look whose senior day we're going to be. It looks like we're going to be Illinois senior day, assuming they don't have a home game that week. We play March 5th, Tuesday, March 5th. They could have another home game after us, I guess. But that looks like it'd be the only one. We are at Michigan on February 25th, but I doubt Michigan has 3 straight road games in the year.
Right.
The Big Ten tournament being in Minneapolis, Minnesota will be interesting this year. That's going to be cold. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm biased by which it was in Indianapolis every year, or at least the old rotation of Indianapolis and Chicago. But I think we're going to see it bounce around a bunch. We've seen it in D.C. We've seen it in New York. You can't tell me L.A. is not going to want it at least for a year.
Right.
And then at that point, I get it. If other
Seattle, maybe even like. Oh
yeah, Seattle or Portland. Or Detroit. They're gonna Michigan State's gonna say, hey, why not Detroit?
Right.
And then you're gonna have Ohio State say, hey, why not Cleveland? Pittsburgh, it could go all over the place. Put in Omaha, Nebraska. There we go.
Right.
But it's going to be a fascinating year in the Big Ten and around college basketball. So now the big question, Webby, been beating around the bush this whole time for 45 minutes. Does Purdue get to their first Final Four since 1980 this year? barring injuries,
right,
we stay healthy.
Yeah.
We stay healthy. So I'm putting that on the table. We stay healthy. Yes or no? Does it happen? Is this the team of destiny to at least get to the Final Four?
God, I hope so.
When we're speaking of that, I do hate that narrative because I not only want to get the final, I want to win the national championship because I think Purdue actually has a team that could do that. Mm-hmm. And even though Matt Painter's doing a great job and with the culture of Purdue, getting good recruiting classes, getting good teams, we don't know when we're going to be in this position again.
Right. Yeah.
To legit be a national championship contender, not just Final Four, national championship contender. Getting the Final Four would be great because we would break the streak, we'd break the ice, finally get there. But I want to hang a banner for a national championship.
Right. Which is just wild to think about.
I know. I can't even imagine what my anxiety would be.
Yeah, actually, I know I've said this a ton of times before, but I remember vividly thinking back to, oh gosh, probably 2015, 2016. We lose to Arkansas Little Rock. And I'm like, man, we're losing AJ, we're losing Raphael. Like, are we going to be this good? And then next year, Biggie goes off, and it's like, we're going to the Sweet 16. It's like, dang, this team is like with Biggie, like, hey, like, who should have been a player of the year? Like, this team could legitimately go to a Final Four with the talent around them. And then we don't get it. It's like, are we ever going to be this good again? And then it's like next year, it's like this team has won like 19 in a row or something like that. And then we lose Isaac Haas and we lose. And like, oh my god, like, are we going to be this? Like, we're definitely going to be this good again. And the next year, we go to the Elite Eight. Go to the Elite Eight.
And that team probably, of all those teams you mentioned, that team probably was the one that had the least amount of business being in a position they were in.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
They just had two hot shooters.
I mean, 7-5 at the end or going into at the end of December or something like that. Everybody's wrritten them off. And
I hated that team. If you remember it on this podcast.
Oh, I remember.
December, I hated it.
Because I was weirdly like, no, this team will be fine. Yeah. I was it wasn't like me trying to be like, it wasn't me trying to be like, just trying to be different. It was just like, I remember watching the games and I was like, okay, we're losing. But I was like, I feel like this team is going to figure it out. Like, I feel like they're right there. Whether that was just taking a lucky guess or not, but I was like, dang, I actually knew what I was talking about.
I just remember I thought they were so selfish. I just hated watching them. I'm like, I don't enjoy, even when they win, I don't enjoy watching play. But then they end up being one of my favorite Purdue teams just because of the stretch or the run in the home stretch there.
Well, then we have Ivy, and then we lose him. It's like, God, we're not gonna be this good. And then last year for number one again.
Yeah.
So it's just like, at this point, it's like, why? Yeah, I mean, like, are we ever gonna be in this position again? Like, we're gonna lose Zach after this year and all that. But yeah,
because I've always said, like, the team that's gonna do it, get over the hump for Purdue, is gonna be a Purdue team nobody expects.
Yeah.
But now, credit to Matt Painter. Thank God he's our basketball coach. He's been pumping out good team after good team to where we're not really in that position. Because, I always thought we're going to have a sneaky good team that's a 5 or 6 seed and just get hot in the tournament and go to the Final Four.
But the fact that yes, Zach is, can be a liability against, up-tempo teams, but people said that last year. And, Gonzaga was one of the highest tempo teams.
Yep.
We beat the crap out of them. Duke, way more athletic, beat the crap out of them. Beat an Illinois team who terrified the ever-living crap out of me going into the year because of how. Because I remember, my boss is a huge Illinois fan. Talk with other Illinois fans that are, I'd worked with. They're like, this team is going to just run circles around Edey. Like, he's not going to be able to keep up and beat them. So it's just like, we have the best player in college basketball. And I think, a more aggressive Braden Smith, another year for Fletcher Lawyer under his belt. He played a lot of minutes last year, obviously. A guy like Lance Jones, hopefully the athleticism of Camden Heide and Miles Colvin. Why the hell not? Let's go win the damn thing.
Yep, I agree. Webby, I got a fun little game I thought we would do.
Okay.
And it's a quiz. It's not like one I usually do. It's a site I've come across that has fan-made quizzes. I'm going to give you the option of what quiz you want to take.
Okay.
So it's Purdue basketball, of course. So you can do leading Purdue basketball scores from 92 through 09. And I've done these myself. So you can do Purdue 1,000-point scores. So that's all time. Purdue 1,000-point scores. Or there was another one on here I saw the other day. Where did that go? It was a really good one. Let's see if I can find the other one. Which one of those two would you rather do if I can't find this other one?
Let's do 1,000-point scores.
1,000-point scores. Okay, I'm going to try to see if I can find this other one.
I think I'm going to regret that one, but I feel more confident I can get a lot more on that one than I can the point leaders.
Oh, here's another one. Purdue basketball starters since 72-73.
Oh God, that's such a long time.
Okay, I cannot. There was one that had like tons of statistical leaders, or Purdue basketball single season leaders. Which, let me take a look at this one real quick, just to see what it is. It's, can you name the Purdue Boilermakers basketball top 10 single season statistical leaders? And it has top 10 in points, assists, steals, blocks. It gives you the year and what they have. But you want to do 1,000-point scores, you said?
Sure, why not? Let's do it.
All right. Let me get the quiz up and I'll share my screen. I've done it before and I don't remember what I scored on that. I was kind of humbled. Let me get back to it. Come on. All right. All right. Share my screen here. Oops.
54. Okay.
Okay, there's 54. You get 10 minutes, and it gives you the points and the years played.
Okay.
So, when you're ready, let me know.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I got Rick Mount.
Yep.
I was going to say, I know you suck at spelling, so I'm glad that you can just do one name. Joe Barry Carroll. Each one more.
You go in order.
63, 66. Is that Scheffler?
Oh, Scheffler's on there, but he's 90.
Oh my God. Oh, I know this. God, he
I know it too, and I can't think.
Yeah. Wow, I know the 85, and I'm blanking on every player who's ever played now.
Start throwing out players.
Yeah, I know Carson Edwards. Because Vince Edwards is another one. You're putting Edwards.
I knew what I was doing.
Caleb Swan again. Juwan Johnson.
Caleb was actually not 1,000-point score, 994.
Oh,
but it shows it down there.
Oh, okay. I see. Wow, I still only played 2 years. Okay.
Oh crud!
What?
There we go.
Robbie Hummel. Has Edie hit 1,000 points yet? I haven't even seen if he's on. No, he hasn't hit it yet. Right? Has he?
He's not on. No, he's not on here yet.
That's because he's getting close because he has the potential to do 1,000 points. There's some stat that was out there. Brian Cardinal. Troy Lewis. That's what I was thinking of. I cannot think of his name. God, the fourth leading scorer is pissing me off because I know I've gotten this question right in the past. Just look at some years here. Oh, obviously Big Dog. That's not how you spell that.
I know. Oh, they gave you another one there.
Mike Robinson.
Gave you Mike
Robinson. Totally would have
gotten that. Yeah. He was a McDonald's All-American, I believe.
Yeah, he was, yeah. 2014, 2018. AJ Hammonds, did he?
Yeah, pretty easily.
Yeah, that's true. Did Dakota Mathias?
In Western Cowboy.
Isaac Haas. Okay, he was what I was looking at. Konzo. Okay. How many did you get?
I don't remember. I think it was like 30, maybe.
Okay. I feel like I'm overthinking it way too much. Did Rayfield get it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was looking at that last one.
Barely.
He barely got it. God, 2006, 2010. That one's. Got some others. Did Kenny Lowe? Willie Dean? Did he get it? I don't even play. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He was the one I thought about. David Teague. Okay. No, I don't think. I was gonna say Carl Landry, but he's not. I don't think he did it because I don't see another chance. Oh, he did. Okay. Wow. Okay.
He was a beast.
Yeah, it was. Did Rowinski do it? I mean, he was Big Ten Player of the Year, but
that's how you spell it. I think that's how you spell it.
I think so. Yeah.
Didn't take it.
Okay.
If it pops up at the end and if I misspelled it, give it to you.
Gosh. Everett Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I am the 63 to 66 one is absolutely Dave Steelhouse.
Yes,
I spell that. Yeah, good luck.
That one. Yeah, I know that's who it is.
Yeah.
I have no idea without Googling it, which I can do, I guess, on my phone.
God, your dad's gonna be so embarrassed by me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that's how you spell it. Holy smokes. Watch this.
It's like 8. Oh, nope. Okay.
Yeah. Wouldn't have guessed
that
one.
No. I thought there was a U in there for sure. I'm looking at the years. See, I don't think he would have because Lord knows they didn't move the balls. I was going to say wouldn't, but there's no way back then. He scored the average like 12.
No 3-point line either.
Yeah.
Even though Rick Mount scored 2,000.
Right. Yeah.
23,000. 3-point line.
Some of these years are really making me mad. Did Brantley do it? No. Okay. 2018, 2022.
Some of his teammates did.
Sasha.
Oh man.
Can you just put Sasha?
No, you can, I guess. Stefan. I think I can.
Here, I can.
I don't know if he did though.
It's Stefanovic. Stefanovic. Yeah, get it?
I'm not seeing his years on here.
Interesting. So. Okay. Who's that 2018?
And who knows when this was?
That's true.
I don't know when this was made.
It's true. Yeah, it's very true. Well, at least, I mean, it ended at least 2 years ago. 2018 to 2022. Who the hell graduated? Travion? Okay, that's what I was looking at. Okay. Dang, okay. Good with Travion. 2010. 2006. I got each one. I got Juwan. I got Robbie. Who was the 2006, 2010? DJ Bird didn't do it, did he?
Close, but right under 20.
Oh, 890. Okay. Who graduated in 2010? Oh, no. Lewis Jackson, is he on there? There's no way.
It just shows him 85, but
2 minutes. Oh boy. Okay. I'm trying to think of players now. 94, 98, 94, 98. Those late 90s Katie's teams all just run together. Brandon McKnight, I'm guessing no. Nope. Son of a bitch. Some of these years are really making me mad because I'm going to be so mad at myself. That 1030 number, 2006 to 2010 person is going to piss me off. Did Ryan Smith do it? I'm going to guess no.
I know what's going to happen if I do this. Got to give you a different one.
Oh, can you put Ryan
no,
Smith?
it didn't. No, it didn't. Never mind. I thought there was another Smith that did it. I was mistaken. He did not.
Okay.
I thought Rodney Smith scored 1,000.
Okay.
He did not.
2004, 2010, 2014. Who put on some terrible teams? I'm trying to think. Tyrone Johnson, is he on here? I don't think so, but
there you go.
Okay. He graduated in 2014. I guess I thought he was before then. 40 seconds. Oh God. Only get like half. Did Matt Kiefer do it? It's a KEI.
Nope.
Dang it. Oh God.
I'm disappointed in you that you didn't get the 06 to 10 one yet.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm trying to remember who's on that team. Keaton Grant.
There you go.
It's like, jeez. Kramer, did he get 1,000? I don't think he did.
No, he's 850.
No, yeah, so he didn't score enough.
All right, so Terry Dishner, Walter Jordan from Fort Wayne.
Oh,
Keith
yeah.
Edmondson, Todd Mitchell, Chad Austin, John Garrett.
Jerron Cornell, one of my favorite first players.
Mel McCants, Brad Miller,
okay.
Russell Cross, Eugene Parker, Frank Kendrick, Drake Morris, Bob Ford, Mel Garland, Bruce Parkinson, Matt Waddell.
I was gonna say Matt Waddell. I was like, I don't think if he did.
Jerry Scheiting, Herm Gillum, Sheasting, thanks. Larry Weatherford, Joe Sexton, Steve Reed, Woody Austin, Bob Perkheiser, Billy Keller, Tony Jones, Wayne Wells, and Dennis Blind. I haven't heard of some of those guys. I gotta be.
I'm trying to look at see who
you beat the average. You beat the average. Look, see, you beat the average.
Okay. I mean, I'm mad about Jerron Cornell. Brad Miller really makes me mad. So I thought of Matt Waddell, but I was like, "There's no way." Yeah, a lot of these I probably wouldn't have even thought of.
I think I got Jerron Cornell, Todd Mitchell, Chad Austin, Woody Austin, but I think I missed all the other ones you missed. I don't remember getting any of those others, so I must have just got a few more than you. So what did I say? 30? Yeah, that would have been about 30, I think. So
did I get Scheffler right? Was he on there?
I don't think he was on there.
Okay.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes, you got him. You got him.
Okay.
There. 86 and 90. Yep. So, yeah. Fun little quiz.
Yeah.
Test your knowledge. So, all right. Well, any final thoughts, Webby, before we do our sponsor reads and call this a wrap for the basketball preview?
It's crazy that I guess. Do you have outside of Edie, who do you think is our next leading scorer?
Braden Smith.
I think so too. I think it's too easy of an answer. I think
he's gonna hit a lot of threes.
Yeah, I think Lawyer could contest with that. Trying to think. Do you have a first team All Big Ten? If you had a guess.
Edie, Terrence Shannon. I'm blanking on names. That's the problem.
Yeah, so here's what
CBS guard from Michigan State.
Yeah. Yep. I know you're talking about. Walker.
Yep.
So they had. Wait, hold on. Okay, so they have Player of the Year. ZD. It says 4 more players to watch. They have Terrence Shannon, Jameer Young from Maryland, Xavier Booker from Michigan. I don't think he's going to play. And then Tomi Naga from Nebraska. I hope he contends for Player of the Year. That'd be awesome.
I will give that guy credit. He went from a guy I was getting mad because he's come off the bench and just throwing in shots to he's turned into a pretty good player.
Yeah, a guy that you like see at the co-rec who's just lighting it up, and then it's like, oh,
and there
they can actually ball. Yeah, I think Walker for sure, or that, or their other guard or their other guy.
I get so mad at myself because I consider myself a pretty big Ten basketball fan.
Probably.
Boo-booey.
Yeah.
There'll be some surprises. Tyler Wall could be.
Yeah.
He's been there for a million years.
Yeah. That's excited for the season to start. It's crazy that's already here. Felt like like football season started, and I still felt like basketball was. I guess it was months away, but it felt a long ways away.
Yes, Sam, we know we lost to Arkansas. Thank goodness it.
I'm not
didn't count. And Arkansas is good. They're ranked 14th, and a lot of people are picking them as a Final Four team. So
yeah, and it's exhibition doesn't matter.
Yeah, like Michigan State lost, Kansas lost. So.
Top 5. Pretty sure the whole top 5 lost. But yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be here. Excited to be back at Mackey at some point. Not sure when I'll be back, but the new tunnel's new. They added lights to the tunnel, sound system.
Thank
God. New. Thank God. I couldn't hear anything. Not because the crowd was loud, just because the sound system sucked. No, just crazy basketball's here, and now comes the most anxiety-inducing 6 months of my life.
Yes, sir. Couldn't say better myself. And,
yeah.
But I know a lot of times, basketball games, you got multiple games a week. You got those weeknight games. You got those Saturday. No, you don't want it. Nobody ever wants to cook. Let's be honest.
No,
whether it's a weeknight or a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday night or a Sunday, especially like a Sunday. So we got a perfect place for you to get some food, whether that's pizza, cheese sticks, grinders, wings, whatever you may be. Mad Mushroom has it all. Mad Mushroom is a sponsor of our podcast. They've been serving Boilermakers since 1993. They're located in the heart of West Lafayette, and they're well known as the home of the original cheese stick. Whenever Evan, Andrew, or I go, we like to sit down and have an ice cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month, which now we're in November. We have a new pizza of the month, and that is Tristan's Thanksgiving Feast. It's turkey gravy topped with corn, savory stuffing, hickory smoked turkey, and mozzarella and cheddar cheeses, finished with parsley. And that is a Thanksgiving feast within itself, starting at $14. So if you get 2 of those, that puts you over the $20 limit. And then you can just tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you. You can get $5 off your order over $20, or you can use the coupon code BREAK5. That's in all caps here on the screen. If I can pull it up. There we go. BREAK5, all caps, for $5 off any order over $20 as well on madmushroom.com. That's Mad Mushroom. Feed your head. And Evan's doing his part. I am not doing my part tonight because I got a sweatshirt on tonight, so I'm cold because I'm already over this weather, even though today wasn't too bad, I guess. But Evan's got a sharp-looking shirt on like he does every episode of the Boiler Breakdown podcast. And I'm guessing you got that shirt from the shop.
I did. I'm looking here at our comment section. We got Sam Palmer, who says he likes Purdue. Can't wait to watch Edie. And he's a new subscriber. And Sam, I don't know if you haven't checked this out before. I'm not sure if you're a Purdue fan or another team. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, appreciate
interacting with us. We have fun with it. But if you are a fan of Purdue or other Indiana schools or the Pacers or somebody, you might like the shop. The Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by the shop. Shop has been bringing sports and hometown apparel to the fans since 2011. From their humble beginnings in garages and basements, you can find them at their 2 retail stores and online. They make comfortable shirts. Makes everybody happy. This shirt is the one I'm wearing. It's kind of the 90s gradient.
Love it.
Love it. Love the style from our youth.
Vintage is in, man. We're all
vintage is in. Shop's located in Carmel and Indy, over in Broad Ripple, as well as online at theshopindy.com. They make the best shirts, period. Next time you're shopping online, use promo code BREAKDOWN. You get 25% off.
Yep, it's that perfect time to start thinking of the Purdue fan or the sports fan in your family, because we are Christmas is going to be here before we know it. So
less than 2 months.
Start that shopping now. So, well, Webby, let's boil her up, hammer down, and make some history this basketball season, shall we? On the good side, the positive side of history.
Yes, boil her up. Yeah, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm excited.
Let's do it.